Hi, this is Sherry Goble, and I will be teaching you how to download Remind. What you see here is a screenshot of the actual website. This is www.remind.com. This is the home screen that you will see when you go to search for this. You can either look it up as an app or you can look it up as a web page. It is a little bit easier to download and begin as a web page if you are setting up an account. And so I have chosen to show you the internet version, and this is just the start screen, as I said. Once you have accessed the online version and you see the web page, you will click the big green button in the middle of the screen, and it says start here. So you'll click that, and it will go ahead and prompt you to the next screen. Once you have entered into the Start Here button, you will have a pop-up that comes up and it says Welcome to Remind. It will then ask you to either put in a phone number or it will ask you to go ahead and put in an email. I suggest that you choose one that you have readily accessible to you so that you can check it. Plus, if you have a smartphone, so that you can link it to your smartphone and you have access to the app. After you have entered in your phone number or email address, this next screen will pop up and it will say, this is your verification code. It will send that code to either the email that you provided or the phone. If you provided your phone number, it will text you and you'll need to immediately put in that code into this little rectangle box, and then you'll hit enter, and then it'll go ahead and get you started. As you can see, I went ahead and made a new account so that I could show you the step-by-step process. The verification number that was sent to my cell phone is the number listed below, and that number is 5876. So what I did was I used that text message, I transferred that number into the box, and then I'll go ahead and click continue. So you'll do the same process with the number that I sent to you. So say, for example, the number that is given to you is 1234. You'll type in that number combination, you'll hit continue, and then you'll go ahead and follow the next steps. Upon successful completion of a verification code, it will prompt you to go ahead and put in your credentials. And so on this screen, you'll put in your first name and your last name, and then you'll pick a password. I suggest that the name that you use for this account is a name that is a professional name, something that your students or the parents will recognize you by, and it's not something silly, because this is used as a record database. So if you have a discrepancy with a student, such as grades, or if they're sending inappropriate comments, you have that saved into this form, and you can print out that form to provide for administration or behavior intervention. And so you want to keep it as professional as possible. On the other hand, if you're using this as, say, a coach or just with your friends, then it may not need to be as professional, but I would still pick a name that is recognizable to the people involved. And so you just need to kind of have transparency, and you need to make sure that it is appropriate when you are using it. I went ahead and put in a fake name, but I still put it in as if it was like my personal name. I also chose a password that is something that's a little bit harder, so that if someone tries to hack into your account, it's harder to get into. It also needs to be something that is something that you'll remember, or a way that you can save that information. When you pick your password, it has to have varying degrees, and it'll prompt you on how. So I included a capital letter, I chose 6 smaller letters, and then I also use special markings such as like an exclamation mark. Once you have your name and your password, this is the screen that will pop up. And like I stated before, depending on how you intend to use this will determine which little box that you click. For this purpose, I went ahead and clicked the Apple box, and that is to indicate that I'm a teacher or I'm going to use it as a teaching purpose. You can use it as a parent, and so if you are logging in as a parent, you would click the heart. If you're a student, click to account, you're going to click that pencil, or if you're an administrator or maybe an academic coach or something along that degree, you're going to go ahead and click that bell at the bottom right hand corner. Like I said, for this purpose, I chose the apple so that I can show you the teaching side of it. On this screen, it will ask you what you want your class to be called and what your name when you log in is going to show up as. I suggest that you choose something that your students refer to as. So if your name is Mr. Gillenhopper, but maybe your students have a harder time saying that name and they refer to you as Mr. G, then maybe you should put your screen name as Mr. G so that they have that connection. On this next screen, you will be prompted to put in your email address, and this is what links your email to your app. When you do this, I suggest you choose an email that is readily accessible and that you have access to. The email that you choose will also link to your app so that if you're using it, it can send it straight to your email and you can check it within the app. As long as you are logged in, then your messages will be sent through and you'll get a notification. If you're not logged in, like I said, it will save it to your email, so it needs to be something that is readily accessible that you have access to. If you have a school email address that you prefer, then you can use that if you want to keep it professional. If you're using it for personal reasons, then use your personal email. The next screen that you will be prompted to is your class. If you have multiple classes, then you need to name it by the class that you have. So example, if it is EDUC 631, I would suggest to put that as your class name. If you are using it as a coaching or a tutoring purpose, then you can either put the child's name or maybe Monday session 1, Tuesday session 2, something along those lines, something that you will remember which class has which students and participants. Once you have indicated which classes you have, the next screen prompts you to choose your location. On this screen, it will ask you where you teach or what your school is. If your school doesn't have anyone that is actively participating with Remind at the moment, then your school may not pop up. When you use the drop-down box, it will have suggestions for you. If it is not, you can either add it or suggest that you can send a notification to your friends and say, hey, this is the app that I'm using. You may like it. And then once more people start adding it, then it will show in the drop-down box. Now that you have your personal information and your school information, the next step is to begin adding participants into that class. It will have a place for the name. It will have a place for an email or a phone number. You need to ask your participants which one that they most actively check. In today's age, a lot of people would rather the text message go straight to their cell phone, and so adding a personal number is a lot quicker. As personal experience, I like to have parents put their number instead of their email, because if something happens in the classroom and you need an immediate response, then they are able to text right back as if you were just using a text message service. The parents, however, will not see your personal number if you're using a personal device. Rather, it comes in as Remind and it's saved as Remind. So that is a definite benefit for having this, but you need to make sure that the name and the number correspond correctly and that they are actively working. If your parents are not able to attend a meeting and you still need to send out this information because they've requested how to do this, if they do not have access to a video such as this, you also have the option to print a PDF. And so you can send these home with students, you can send them through the mail with parents, and it gives them a step-by-step breakdown if they need additional support. It gives pictures, it gives hints, and it tells you the best way to utilize this. This next screenshot is a screenshot of the in-person directions. I like to do this at the beginning of the year before the classes start. I like to have everyone meet together so that we can have a meet and greet and we can talk about different things. And setting up Remind is one of the first things we do together so that we're all on the same page. Using this helps them to know if they're in the class, they can see it in real time and you can show them your contact list to make sure that they're popping up. If they are not popping up, you can text them this number, and you can have them text in the class code so that they know that they're accessing the correct forum, and then they can go ahead and save it to their contacts within their phone list, and they are ready to go. This screen shows a link that you can actually use. If you do not have access to texting or a printable, you can also email a link if you prefer to do this. You can email the link to the participant saying, hey, I would like to invite you to this class. Please enter this code and then send me your information. And through this process, they are able to join the class that you have created, and then it will save the information for both parties so that you can have that communication. Thank you for watching. Here's a reminder to download the app and start using this great resource. This is really fun to use and it's pretty simple. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know and I can help you get started. I look forward to hearing what you think about the app and I hope that you try it out.